Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel where today we're doing a bit of an interesting video. So over on my Twitch channel and eventually on here when I get down around to editing the videos, because I have so many videos to edit, I will be playing Ghostwire Tokyo. I've been wanting to play it for ages and it just seems like such a great game and I've actually been enjoying it an awful lot. However, one of my patrons and friends, Lloyd, has requested that I do a mini video about some of the monsters or visitors as they're called that you meet in the game. Now, this might be a slightly longer video or a slightly stranger video because what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to start by reading you out the basics that is in the game of the database, and then I'm going to do a bit of research into actual yokais and possibly even Western influences of the visitors so we can see where the kind of influences have come from. And I think that'd be interesting because I've seen some people just, you know, read out the databases and go, yeah, that's how it comes from, and I have opinions and things that I want to talk about. So we're going to start off with the walkers, or the rainwalkers, who are the most prominent visitors in the game. Now, they are a type of visitor that is born from the hearts of those who have been pushed to the point of utter exhaustion by their work. They apply an equally exhaustive approach to their work, robbing the living of their life force, which actually makes a lot of sense. Even just from reading that, I can tell that the reason that this visitor exists is because of Japan's absolutely terrible work ethic issues. Like, one of the big points if you read anything about Japan at the moment is that they are having an incredibly low birth rate. And it's not just due to the cost of living crisis, it is due to their work ethic. Like, the way that Japan runs their systems and their jobs and all that kind of thing. You're supposed to put in overtime. People are regularly found asleep on their way home. They're safe to do that, which is incredibly strange coming from someone who would never fall asleep on the train in this country, because I would be terrified not to wake up where I need to be. So congratulations to Japan for being safe to do that, but also not congratulations to Japan because couples aren't being able to see each other so much, so their birth rate is declining. Even if they want kids, they just don't have the time to do that kind of thing. So the fact that these rainwalkers are representing that is kind of cool. So the game has a scathing commentary. Let's be honest, it is kind of scathing. That Japan is pushing its people, predominantly men, I will say that. The predominantly rainwalkers are male. There's a couple of females, and they are fucking vicious. So again, makes sense. But yes, it's a scathing commentary on Japan's societal desires for its workforce that is actually destroying the workforce. Again, this is something that is regularly reported when it comes to Japan. It's a thing. It's a well-known thing. It's also a well-known thing in places like Korea and China as well, which again kind of fits into things considering Japan has followed China and China has followed Japan and all that kind of thing. I'm not going to go into Japan versus Korea and all that kind of thing because it's a terrifying subject and I don't know the ins and outs and I'm probably going to do it wrong. So the most common, the upgraded version of the Rainwalker is called the Rugged Walker. Now this one is a slightly larger version of a standard walker. Now, as you know, there are 3 types of standard Rainwalker. They are the ones that just look like Slender Man's cousin. There is ones that look like Slender Man's cousin got a bit drunk or is very late from work and decided to, you know, he's very slovenly in appearance. And then there is also the final one where he's taken his suit jacket off and he's decided to either fight you or stumble home drunk. I'm not sure which. The upgraded version of that is, as I've mentioned, the Rugged Walker, who is a very large gentleman, hits like a truck, and is not wearing a suit jacket. Because, to be honest, I don't know if I know a suit jacket that would fit this man. Poor dude. So yes, the rugged walkers are a type of visitor born from the quiet, underlying rage burning within those who have spent their lives being mercilessly trampled upon. Once that anger is unchained, there is no stopping the murderous rampage that follows. So essentially, be nice to the underdogs. You know, they're gonna eventually snap. And again, there is actually quite a big issue in Japan recently. I've been watching a lot of Korean and Japanese crime channels. Thank you to Rotten Mangoes. Please do give them a watch. She's amazing at reading out about the crimes that are currently going on over there. I didn't know about a lot of them, but a lot of them are things like arson, random knife attacks. And it's all because people, not just hatred of women, which a lot of it is hatred of women, I hate to say it, I don't know why, but she points this out, that there is a large proportion for hatred of women. But it's also to do with the fact that they were passed over for promotions, even though they put in all of the work that they were told they were required to do. And again, I think this kind of reflects that, and it's pretty cool that they've managed to do this. Again, I don't know if this is actually the way it's going to be. This is just my personal opinion, but and this is how I feel about these kind of characters. So after these, there is the Rain Slasher, which is the first female version of this kind of standard walker. These type of visitors are born from the deep enmity that grows from personal conflicts at the workplace. The creature wields its profound resentment as a deadly weapon, which it uses to strike out at the living. Now, the really sad thing about this particular visitor, I find, is that, again, I've been watching a lot of Rotten Mango. If you want some viewpoints from Korea, Japan, China, she's really, really good to watch, and she breaks everything down, and she has a wonderful speaking voice, so that makes things so much better. But she talks about a lot about how Asia as a whole has quite a lot of issues with women in the workplace. And I don't mean just as in the fact that they're there, but the fact that they get sexually harassed, they get controlled, and they don't get the safety that they should do. And a lot of people complain about the fact that because they're women, they think they deserve safety, and then when things are brought to the front, such as, you know, male co-workers touching inappropriately or things like that, it's just a case of, you're a woman in the workplace, what did you expect? And I think that that again shows really, really well in the fact that one of the most powerful standard walkers, I will say standard, is a female that can kill you in one hit when you first see her. Brilliant. Very, very good social commentary in this game. Admittedly, you have to look into it a bit more, and it's something that we wouldn't quite see as a Western audience, but if you are into Eastern kind of commentary and societal issues, then you would know exactly where this is coming from. Technically a step up from the Rain Slasher, despite the fact that it's not as common and is another male variant, is the Shadow Hunter. This type of visitor is born from the self-destructiveness of those who have lost sight of what they once wished to protect, and who have become the very thing that they once wished to fight. So again, what I think this represents, and this is kind of universal the world over, is the fact that if you sign up to become a cop, a firefighter, an ambulance driver, a paramedic, a medic, anything like that, is you want to ultimately help people. But obviously there are, having worked in retail, I'm not going to say that I have the same level of understanding of these things as blue collar workers, I believe is what they're called, or in the UK they'd be called like the blue line workers, so NHS, firefighters, police officers. I do understand the point of view that you want to do well for most of the population, but there is a small portion of the population that just make you so angry because they don't care how much you want to help them. They are just self-entitled pricks, and then you find yourself becoming a self-entitled prick and you hate yourself for it. So I think that's kind of what this represents, and this is more a universal thing, which I think again is pretty cool. The next walker is the Relentless Walker. We're back to men. Again, I'm really sorry to say that, but a lot of these enemies are male. A lot of the more powerful ones are female, which is kind of interesting. We could go into that, but we're not going to in this video. This type of visitor is born from the violent mindsets. They are prone to rampage with their hulking, swollen bodies crashing from place to place as they swing blunt weapons with reckless abandon. Now, what I essentially mean by that, this guy wears a red tie, a red scarf. He's got a very fancy, ornate kind of hammer that he uses to, you know, bash you around, and a very stunning, very pretty umbrella. And he drops money, not soul shards, which kind of gives you an example of what I think they were going for. He's the kind of person that has a goal or an aim in mind and refuses to accept that there could be any casualties to the world for him going after his aim. I'm saying him because the enemy is male. There is no female version of this character. So please bear that in mind. It's just the fact that this enemy is male. And it does represent the trampling of other people underneath the foot as they're trying to go for their goals. Now, I'm not saying that women don't do this, because they ultimately do, and it's just predominantly this is a very male orientated. If you look at entrepreneurs, the highest percentage of entrepreneurs out there are male, not female, and they do tend to trample and get in trouble for trampling people underneath their feet, be they standard base minimum wage workers or other partners, things like that. So I think that's what this guy represents. Which again, pretty cool, but we still have more walkers to discuss. The Rage Walker is a type of visitor born from an explosive rage. Who knew, right? Their anger is so intense that it causes the very land beneath them to tremble. Now, this guy is quite rare. He has a very twisted, corrupted face, but his suit looks quite put together. And there's no damage or breaks to it, unlike quite a few of the other characters, other walkers. And he's on fire. He's quite hard to find. I don't know if I've managed to get any footage together of this one, because I essentially have only met this guy once or twice. And I know he's much more available in the later levels of the game. But I think I can speak for everyone when I say I understand the Rage Walker, because we all have that rage inside of us. So that's the walkers. I've been a lot more kind of talkative about what they mean, because each single thing is kind of a very one or two lines in the game. But I thought I would expand a bit on kind of what I think they mean and things like that. I was going to originally go into the folklore. For example, if you are interested in the Abume, they are very, very similar to the original kind of design of how they are ghosts or yokai that essentially sneak up on people and have no faces, and they cause a lot of trouble, but they don't outright kill anyone. They kind of cause people to die through mischief, and I think that's why they aren't quite associated with this as much as I thought. So you've just got some of my thoughts and opinions based on what I think they were trying to aim for with this. So I do hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Do, as always, take care, have fun, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.